Thank you. Thank you. Good. Wow. No notes. What a postmaster. Yeah. All righty. Well, thank you for showing up, everybody, on our pre-Mother's Day, right? Don't forget your mothers. Mine passed to the other side, but I still remember her. I'm sure she still remembers me. I was kind of a rambunctious little guy. But anyway, so I love doing these talks, and I know we have some people. Who's not attended these talks before? Okay, thank you, sir. All right. So I got into natural healing. I like to always tell this story because, well, it's where my heart is. Can you imagine being 2 years old, given your last rites, you're on your deathbed, and they say you're not going to make it? I said, really? Okay, so that was me at age 2. And so I evidently was born with adhesions that were in the bowels, and there was obstructions. Imagine a little 2-year-old baby defecating out the mouth, right? And said, well, you're probably not going to make it. So, well, here we are, many years later. Sometimes I ask myself, maybe I didn't make it, and this is the other side. Heaven forbid, heaven forbid. But so through my life, I've gone through a lot of healing experiences. Because when you're at a deficit in your digestive tract, and your mother didn't know that she was pregnant with you until the 5th month because she had erratic periods and was a small lady, and smoked, and back in the 50s, you know, back from World War II, doctors on TV, I'm a doctor and I smoke too, right? They're probably all dead now. But it was normal, right? It was accepted, okay? So I was not breastfed, which is really important, okay? If you're not breastfeeding, then you're missing a lot of antibodies, okay? A lot of antibodies. So you got all those things. So going up through the years of health challenges, I call them opportunities, because you know once you begin to have a situation that is uncomfortable, I have a little sign in my clinic that says, "Pain is your friend." So I don't show it to the new patients the first visit, right? We don't want to scare them away. But pain is a beneficent teacher, right? Because if you put your hand on a hot stove and you have nerve endings that are working, you're going to go like that. But what if you didn't have nerve endings? What if you had neuropathy or something? You know, you smell something cooking, you don't eat meat. It's your hand. Okay, so pain is your friend. Okay, and it works at all levels, emotionally, nutritionally, toxically, electromagnetically. All these things can affect our health. And when those happen, then we begin to have symptoms. And symptoms, sometimes symptoms are very deceiving, because you know you could lose 80% of your liver and your kidneys and have no symptom. That's pretty heavy. Really, yeah. 80% of your liver and your kidneys can be not working and you have no symptoms. Okay, then you get 81%, bam! Wow, all of a sudden I have symptoms. What's happened all of a sudden? No, it's been coming on for a long time. Okay, things take time to develop and things take time to reverse. So in this work that we do, the wellness care, it's a lifestyle change. It's a commitment to changing your headspace, changing your diet, your lifestyle, cleansing, nutrition, etc. And today we're going to talk about ketogenic. It's just one little part of this triangle. And so we don't treat symptoms, as we say in the practice. We treat people, not symptoms. Okay? Because if you're treating symptoms, let's say for instance that a person comes in and they have headaches, and that headache basically is the exact same symptom as another person. You know, they wake up in the morning, get this suboccipital headache, and it goes up into the neck, so everybody's thinking structural. Okay, right. You can have cranial bones out, TMJ out, etc. You can have a structural problem. But what if that problem is initiated through tissues that are very weak because you're very toxic? Toxicity can make weak structures, okay? What if you have a lot of emotional stress? What if your nutrition is off and it's contributing to the headaches? So you have blood sugar problems, etc. You wake up, your blood sugar drops down. In the nighttime, you wake up, you get this headache, and it's like, you think it's basically a structural headache. It's more like a blood sugar headache. What if it's allergy, food allergy? That's big. A lot of people, if you eat a particular food, you can get headaches, okay? And you get many, many symptoms. So again, the point being is that just because you have a symptom, just like person A, B, C, D, does not mean it's the same cause. So you have to be able to understand through what we call this triad of health. This is a phenomenal way. As I said, I've been practicing a long time, and the more I practice, the less I know. But this is a tremendous model for looking into people and unraveling what's going on. So you look at a person, they're standing in that triangle, and they have all these symptoms, whatever they are, and then there's puzzle pieces. Say, why do I have this, that, and the other? Why do I have this? Why do I have a headache? Why do I have tension, anxiety, fear? Why do I have a numb leg? Why do I have blood sugar problems, etc.? So no matter what symptom you name, we don't treat any of those symptoms. Okay, so sometimes I'll say to the audience, what symptoms do you think natural health care will treat? Everybody says, and I'll say, well, it's none of those. We don't treat any symptoms. You treat conditions underneath that lead to the symptoms. So there's a keyhole often that will start to unlock some of these things here. And it's never just one thing. It's going to be a combination of things. And you know the body has a priority in the way that it gets well and the way that it gets sick. It's like if you're walking down 20 stairs and you're getting sicker, 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 you're going to have to back up through the stairs. Okay, there's a priority. You don't jump at the stair number 1 and start doing something with stair number 1 when stair number 19 is the next step. So often people, as they go through cleansing, detoxing, etc., they'll start having these symptoms and they think, well, I'm getting worse. No, you're backing back through your stuff. You're going back through old things, okay? We call it retracing, and it's a very common symptom. So sometimes my patients, the first couple of visits, say, Doc, how am I going to feel after treatment? So I say, better, same, or worse. Better, same, or worse. Yeah, better, because you're kind of moving the right way. About the same, sometimes you can't just all of a sudden get a miracle. I often say the only water that I walk on is frozen, right? The only water I walk on. You could feel maybe worse, but it doesn't mean worse bad. It means worse that you're retracing and you're going back through your pathology. Okay, so that's very important. We don't base it on how you feel. We listen to how you feel. You say you can get 80% of your medically, you can get 80% of your diagnosis through listening and a consultation. Well, that's probably true medically, but not when you start looking at these things over here. I mean, within 5 minutes you can unravel a case so quickly it's not even funny. Bam, before the consult's over, you already have a really good idea of where things are coming from. And you're talking to the body, okay? May do a little demonstration later on, perhaps not, we'll see. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to go through the nutrition today, and we're just going to hit this side of the triangle. This is phenomenal, ketogenic diet, okay? And maybe we shouldn't use the word diet because it should be ketogenic lifestyle, okay? Ketogenic lifestyle, but fats that heal, okay? You can actually eat fat and you can begin to heal. Howie, do I have the little clicker? There it is, thank you, I see it. All right. Okay, what's the magic here? It's a doctor thing. It's a doctor thing. He's my tech man. If it doesn't work, no problem.
No, it does.
Okay, Howie will do it. Howie's very good. Howie does all our filming, all our slides. He does all these different things. So he's excellent. Appreciate that. So fats that heal, ketogenic diet. Can I control it from here if I need to?
Yes, the space bar.
Okay. Okay. I can use that one. Just tap this right here, correct? Okay. Okay, I love this saying here by Edison. We don't know a millionth of 1% about anything.
That ain't too much.
What's that?
That ain't too much.
Yeah, I know. That's not too much, huh? Yeah, I mean, seriously. Oh, Reddy, thank you. So we don't know a whole lot, really. And what we think we know is usually wrong in about 20 years with science, right? I mean, fats. Let's get off of fat. Okay? Now we're off of fat. We're all dying because of lack of the proper fats, etc. We already ran through that. Okay, so we're going to talk about a ketogenic diet and ketones and what this is all about. This little summary, where we are now, general health, obesity stats, excessive carbohydrate consumption, why ketones and what are the benefits, and what is a ketone? Ketone, ketosis, ketogenic process, insights into the ketogenic diet, keto eating, etc. We'll have questions and answers. So these are some interesting stats here. So here's where we are as Americans. 133 million, 47% of adults have at least one chronic disease. As of April 2016, 72% of adults are overweight. 72, that's big. Okay, it was 11% in 1960. 34 million have metabolic syndrome. That's just blood sugar problems. Obesity-related diseases, illnesses, annually cost 340 billion for health care and in lost productivity. 27.9 million have type 2 diabetes, 11.1 have million are undiagnosed, and 26 million are pre-diabetic. 5 million have Alzheimer's. Okay, seventh leading cause of death, Alzheimer's. Most expensive condition in the nation. It's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. Okay, they've come up with some magic pill that begins to help your memory. Well, that's helpful. But what are the things that led up to the neurological deficit in reference to the memory anyway? So they say, what obesity epidemic? One of my patients recently went to Amsterdam. They did not see one single person obese, not single. And they're all on bicycles. Yeah, a lot of them on bicycles, and they saw nobody that was overweight. That was really cool. And when we say, talk about obesity and fat, don't feel like it's a critical thing and that it's like, you're obese, you got a problem. You know what, you can be a skinny fat. You can actually be skinny and fat on the inside. Your kidneys can be loaded with fat. Your liver can be loaded with fat. Your bones can be loaded with fat. And we have a machine that checks that, actually tells if you're skinny fat or not. So you can't judge it on how a person looks, okay? These are just some cool stats from 1991 to 2010. If you look at the very light blue, so we have the light blue, that's 10%, less than 10%, okay? And a little darker blue, 10 to 40, 14% obesity. And then as you're coming through here, you just see all the color changes until we're greater than 30% in 2010. This is a nice little picture here, and that takes, green is the 21%, 27% obesity, and the most heavy state is Mississippi, 35.1, boom. There's nothing on there as normal. I mean, that's amazing. If you look at that, it's just follow that gradient there. And these are the percentages of obesity from 22.1, light green, 25, 27, 29, 31, 30. It's an epidemic. It's amazing. So we asked people what they know about carbohydrates. 60% are somewhat confused as to what a carbohydrate actually is, okay? 85% knew overconsumption of carbs can lead to weight gain. 89% think that whole grains are healthy, and you can ask questions, we can talk about that too. 51% think fruit juices, fruit drinks, jams, and jellies containing sugar are healthy. 70% are aware that consuming too many carbs increases the risk for type 2 diabetes. 75% are aware that eating carbs can cause spikes in blood sugar, causing hunger and cravings, shorten lifespan. 54% said that they eat more carbs than they think they should. 63% of men and 52% of women, they don't monitor the amount of carbohydrates they eat every day. So, I mean, that's a lot of statistics, but long story short, we are carbohydrated to death. Sugar is addicting. They've done studies on white rats that they become addicted to cocaine, and then they give the rats choices between cocaine and sugar, and like over 9% of the time they'll go for the sugar. So it's extremely addicting. And guess who knows it? How about the food industry? Yeah, they know it. How about the pharmaceutical industry? Yeah, they know it. See, the whole deal is, let's get the population on foods that are toxic, depleted, and addictive. Wow, toxic, depleted, and addictive. Let's get them addicted to that. And let's let them go a whole lifespan, 7, 8 generations, and then let's medicate them to death. Okay, they got all these symptoms, right? So get them sick and then medicate them to death so that finally there's a lot of profit. And if you don't think that's not done on purpose, you need to do some reading from different news media. Okay, the news media is totally brainwashing people. What's the worst way you can get brainwashed? Go to sleep at night time with the TV on, especially with the news. It's hypnosis. Your conscious mind's asleep. You're in a complete coma. Actually, you're in a meditative state, sleep, and you are taking in everything the TV says. Buy this, buy that, consume more, eat more, etc. Okay. How do people feel about their carbs? 56%, they report typically feeling lethargic or tired after eating a large carbo meal. Has that ever happened to you? You've eaten a large meal, and you know, a lot of carb, and you're exhausted. You want to lay down. Give me some, what? Sugar, dessert, ooh, some coffee, ooh, I'm feeling good. Okay, I'm fine. Okay, that's how that one works. 47% yearn for meals high in carbs. It's addictive. 49% report that the highest cravings are for sugary foods like candy, pastries, and soda. 87% admit they crave bread, pasta, rice at least once a week, and on an average experience severe cravings 11 times a week. Okay, so there you go. That's very interesting. But normal. 42% of regular carb eaters, of which 50% were women, think it would be harder to live without their favorite carb than to live without sex. Sorry, honey. I've got a cupcake waiting for me. Yeah, that's interesting, though, huh? Oh, well. Okay. This lecture, usually my lectures aren't this technical. I took out a bunch of slides already because I don't want to get heavy into all the biochemistry and stuff. It's just, hey, man, can you help me? Common sense, yes. Can we lose weight like water in a healthy manner? Yes. Okay. Can it be done scientifically and reproducibly? Yes. Sugar addiction, perpetual cycle. So number one, you eat the sugar. You like it. You crave it. It has addictive properties. How many, and don't raise your hand right now, but how many had a sugary meal today? Something sugary. You don't have to answer it. How many are kind of thinking, I'm getting a little bit hungry. I think I need a bit of sugar. Something cookie, something, soda, whatever. Don't have to raise your hand. But it's just because you eat something sugary, and what happens? Your blood sugar levels spike. Your dopamine, wow, that's released. So what dopamine is? That's the feel-good neurotransmitter. Okay? And you look at the word dopamine. It's a mean dope for the body. It's a feel-good neurotransmitter. So you eat sugar and your dopamine's, you have intercourse, sex, or whatever, it's a dopamine release. You get plenty of sleep, it's a feel-good thing. Okay? So, but what happens is that every time you stimulate that dopamine, it takes more stimulation to get the same level of dopamine the next time. So all of a sudden you have to have more sugar or more stimulus of whatever in order to feel that dopamine rush. Dopamine. And then, so the blood sugar levels spike, dopamine's released, brain addiction. Okay? And then a mass insulin secretion. Okay? And then what happens with insulin, see, here's sugar going in your body, pancreas squirts out the insulin, boom, and the insulin drops the blood sugar by putting it into the cells. And so your blood sugar can drop rapidly if you have non-complex carbohydrates, okay, high glycemic. Blood sugar levels fall rapidly. Let's say you have like a muffin. Whew, there's your sugar. Whew, here's your insulin. Bam. And now you're really hungry. You know, you're really hungry for something else. Okay, so blood sugar levels, they fall rapidly. High insulin levels change immediately to fat storage. Body craves the lost sugar. So insulin is a fat storing hormone. Okay, so the more you stimulate basically insulin, the more obesity that you'll have. Okay, then we have hunger, that comes next, and cravings, because here your blood sugar fell, now you're hungry again. So the low blood sugar levels, they cause an increased appetite and cravings, and the cycle repeats itself. There's the famous food triangle that is completely addictive, out of date, obsolete. Boom, it puts you right in the center aisle of the grocery store. Where are all the fruits and veggies and stuff? See, they're out there against the walls. That's where you need to shop, more around the periphery. Less expensive too. And if you look at that, it's a little small to read, but these are basically carbohydrates down here. And these are breads, and those are our cereals and our rices and our pastas. It's a big carbo group here. And then you come up next, you get the fruits. And you come up next, you got the veggies, and you come up next here, you get to the meats, the proteins, the dairies, the milks, the yogurt, the chicken, etc. And then you finally get to the fats. Eat sparingly, okay? Fats and oils. So the right fats and the right oils will actually help you burn calories. So this pyramid's upside down. That pyramid exists, and look how our health is now. We are extremely carbohydrate addicted. Boom, that's the basis of our entire diet. Okay. Okay, no, I can't tell you the meaning of life. Only came up here to avoid carbs. Okay, because they're everywhere. They're everywhere. We're going to talk about carbs aren't bad. You need carbs. It's got to be the ratio and the balance of it, right? Okay, so questioning plus new ideas equal big opportunities for all of us. Okay, there's a lot of evidence that energy production processes evolved using fatty acids. Okay, evolutionarily, we actually have evolved using fatty acids, triglycerides, the right fats, etc., and ketones. Those are just fat byproducts as our primary energy source. That's how we have evolved. And our fat storage process, it evolved. But using glucose, okay, fat storage now has evolved by us switching to sugar, glucose, and insulin basically being spiked. So when we started doing a lot of grains, that's when we started having problems. Grains aren't all bad. There's a Paleolithic diet, works really great for a lot of people. But overconsumption of grains and then processed grains and the GMOs, et cetera, we've turned into, instead of a fat burning machine, we're a fat storing machine with sugar, okay, with glucose. So all of a sudden, boom, you can try to lose weight and you can't. So the mitochondria, those are little teeny organelles inside your cells and they make energy, okay? And mitochondria cells, they function like a hybrid car. They need fuel. You can fuel it with sugar or the right fats. Fuel tank, triglycerides, the right fats, boom, sugars, bam. The infrastructure of the whole mitochondria, or the car, or the engine, is influenced by the fuel that you put into it. So we want to turn into fat-burning machines, not fat-storing machines, which we are. So the power of ketones. Don't let that word fool you. Ketone just means it's a byproduct when fat gets digested and breaks down to ketones. They're ketones. Okay, ketones need no, so if you're eating ketones, that's avocados and that's like coconut oils, those are your nuts and that's your seeds, et cetera. They've got a lot of fat, good fat, ketones. And a lot of this is in your notes, by the way. Ketones need no transport molecule, insulin, to get into the cell. So when you're eating like an avocado or something, you don't need insulin to get that into the cell. A little bit of carbo in the avocado. I saw a thing today on the internet when I was looking at my mail. It says, avocado, doctors are now warning against the avocado. I'm going, yeah. So I looked at it real quick. It's real funny. Not funny. You know what it is? There are massive amounts of injuries from people trying to open the avocados and slicing their fingers and cutting their hands and slicing tendons and stuff. I'm going,
Yeah, that was on NPR.
is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought I was.
Avocado injury.